Hello everyone. We are going to start with the last session. We have 4 state governments who are going to talk about their policies, special schemes, especially targeted for the ESDM startups. And we are going to start with state government of Odisha. We have Madam Lopa Mishra-Jana. She is the Chief Operating Officer at Electropreneur Park, Bhubaneswar, and she is going to join us virtually over the link, and she is going to cover about what special schemes and policies that Odisha government has for the ESDM startups. So, good evening, Madam Lopa.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Hope you are able to hear us.
Yes, very clearly.
All right. So, thank you so much, and welcome to the summit. And over to you, Madam.
Thank you so much. And it indeed is a pleasure to be presenting at ISA's first startup summit. And I must congratulate everyone in the my best wishes. Myself, Lopa Mishra, and I hold the position of Chief Operating Officer at Electropreneur Park, Bhubaneswar. To brief about Bhubaneswar, it has emerged as an ideal IT destination in the eastern region, and recognizing the IT potential of the state, Government of India had established the first 3 STPIs at Bhubaneswar along with Bangalore and Pune during 1991. The state of Odisha has excelled in terms of IT software exports, ranking 10th position in the IT exports map of the country. And if I'm allowed, may I just share the screen? Like I said, on the academic and research front, Bhubaneswar is home to around 50 plus engineering colleges, and the state of Odisha has more than 100 engineering colleges. Along with these, we have polytechnics and management institutes that provide a strong base of qualified, skilled, and semi skilled workforce to get deployed across various industries. There is this critical mass of talent pool in the region, and the state is home to IIT, Triple IT, IIM Sambalpur, NIT Rourkela, ISER, and other reputed private institutes. Which are creating this innovative ecosystem and entrepreneurial activities. Odisha is recognized as the top performer in the state startup ranking for the year of 2018 and 21, and also has a recognition as a leader in the state startup ranking in the year 2019. We have a forward-looking startup policy, electronic policy, where it is envisaged to create enabling environment and supporting ecosystem that facilitates whatever is required for the startup with very proactive action plans. And when I say action plans, the plan is to create a conducive environment for startups and empowering them to grow through innovation and design, create a world-class scientific ecosystem, and enable its youth to pursue their dreams within the state. Uh, the policies and the ecosystem, it acts as a catalyst in the economic growth of Odisha, creating models of scalability and replicability along the state, which results in large-scale employment opportunities and value creation also. Of late, Bhubaneswar has seen growth in entrepreneurial activity in the hardware and VLSI area. Though the industry, ESDM industry in particular, is starting to gather pace in the state, it definitely has gathered the right speed. And to continue the momentum, we have several policies in place to stimulate the electronic system design and manufacturing industry in Odisha. The Odisha Electronic Policy 2021 was approved by the state cabinet, and through this policy, which will be in effect till 2026, the government plans to promote Odisha as an attractive destination for the electronic industry, especially in the sectors of consumer electronics, industrial IoT, telecom, mobile, and strategic electronics across the value chain of ESD. So the seed of entrepreneurship and instinctive ability to innovate has to be nurtured through an enabling ecosystem. And for that, that means that we have to create world-class infrastructure to support the startups, promote the culture of innovation through academic interventions, provide them with the right mentoring support and industry connect, and institutionalize the culture of entrepreneurship by providing them training to the students or the students or the entrepreneurs in pipeline for the requisite skills, and realizing that the importance of quality infrastructure, both physical and intellectual. You On the screen you can see several incubators and centers of entrepreneurship in the state. Coming to the STPI Centers of Entrepreneurship, each Center for Entrepreneurship that is created at STPI is an extension of the collaboration with the ecosystem around. The kind of COA ecosystem developed by STPI is very unique in terms of networking with a large number of partners in academia and the industry. So STPI's aim is to build a vibrant pan-India startup ecosystem and build the next wave of budding entrepreneurs, providing them with 360-degree support system. To ensure that India builds leadership in all the emerging sectors, be it IoT, blockchain, fintech, artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality, medical electronics, ESDM, chip designing. These domain-centric centers of entrepreneurship have been set up by STPI in collaborative manner across India. Like you can see, FinBlue, APRE, Electropreneur Park, Varco, MedTech. So these are the numbers that speak about the success that STPI's startup ecosystem has created for the startups. And like most entrepreneurs, yes, entrepreneurs get a lot of plenty of confusing counsel. Like you have to diversify your product line or raise capital by selling the equity. Don't lose risk of losing control because things are going bad. You have to ideate this, do this right professional hiring, etc. These conflict advices are because there are larger these centers of entrepreneurship coming to rescue. We have nomenclated UEs from Center of Excellence to Center of Entrepreneurship so that we can provide them with the right environment to the startups. And Electropreneur Park Bhubaneswar is one such center of entrepreneurship which focuses on electronic system design and manufacturing. So it is a COE which has been set up by STPI with support from Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India, and Department of Electronics and IT, Government of Odisha. And we have IESA as our implementing partner and IIIT Bhubaneswar as our academic partner. We also are the alliance member of Intel Plugin. We have Texas Instruments, Nalco, Excel Point as our industry partners. The Electropreneur Park also is a recognized incubator partner under the Startup India Seed Fund scheme. The focus areas, though it's not restricted, but the whole objective is to contribute towards promotion of innovation, manufacturing, and startups in the ESDM sector. So it's kind of like rightly mentioned, it is kind of a launch pad for startups in the ESDM sector, providing them with a holistic support. So when I talk about the services available for the beneficiaries of Electropreneur Park Bhubaneswar, it includes physical infrastructure, state-of-the-art ready-to-work plug-and-play space, ESDM lab, and we have different business offerings for the startups. We run several programs like the incubation, pre-incubation, which is both physical and virtual. We also run acceleration programs, and we provide all kinds of support to the startups, fast prototyping, giving them access to the reference design, have an in-house component bank. We also have and these are some of the key takeaways a startup gets on onboarding, be it the basic assistance of 50,000 credits for components and other services, a seed grant of 2 lakhs as they get onboarded. Then they have the reference to the access to the reference design and the resource library. We provide them an access to all the 20 plus centers of entrepreneurship under which is set up by STPI Pan India. So we facilitate collaboration with the government agencies and industry, assist the startups in piloting of the solutions, and the list goes on. You can see it on the screen. Software, 12 months free software from Freshworks, MATLAB, with AWS packages, promotional credits. We have the next generation incubation scheme, which targets to incentivize startups from the state with a seed support of to 25 lakhs. We have tied up with HDFC for the Startup Program Parivartan grant. So if you say seeing is believing, this is some of the pictures that I have from from the facility here. The co-working space, the incubation space, the lab, the Fab Lab, ESDM Lab, data center, auditorium, startup modules, and the cafeteria. So we have a very well-equipped ESDM lab at Electropreneur Park Bhubaneswar, which has an advanced test and measuring equipment and a digital fabrication lab with modern fabrication facilities including 3D printing, PCB fabrication, laser engraving, cutting, etc. And ideation is the earliest stage where a startup has the initial idea regarding the product. And so, ideally, in this stage, the innovator has to have the concept ready with a complete schematic architectural diagram, flow diagrams, market feasibility study of his or her idea. And in this stage, we have several equipment, including the prototyping boards, where a startup who is in the pre-incubation period or has a basic idea can test the functionality and can use the simulation tools available to simulate the functionalities without using any hardware components. Apart from this, we provide the startups with continuous technical mentoring, which helps them in case they have any they are deficient in any technical know-hows. So in the prototyping stage, the innovator has to design the proof of concept according to the plan made in the ideation stage. And for prototyping, we have all type of advanced facilities that will help the startups during their POC development. We have the EDA tools like the ORCAD. We have Eagle to design the schematic and the PCB. We have a wide range of eval boards to help the startup initial testing of their POC. We have a PCB fabrication machine to fabricate the design PCB, and the digital fabrication lab with 3D printers, laser cutters to design the enclosures and mechanical assemblies. So post completion, they can test the prototype using the test and measurement devices like the MSOs or function generators, etc. So these are some of the software tools. We have a STPI Fab Lab, which has been set up with support from Fab Foundation USA, which offers a vibrant ecosystem for creating a maker culture among the young techno entrepreneurs. And we additionally have domain specific labs for startups who are working in agri-tech, imaging, renewable energy, power electronics, communication, etc., which supports in their end-to-end product development cycle. So you can see some of the equipments that we have in our lab. Coming to the mentor pool has the who's and who of the industry. With Pradeep Gupta sir as the chief mentor, we have onboarded 26 mentors who are associated with us, and they're like actual anchor mentors. Startups provide them with both technical and strategic mentoring, and this is where we also give them technical trainings and workshops to accelerate the product development process. So we have tied up with different partners like TI, Microchip, ADI, which help the startups, these ESDM startups, the most as they give the fundamental understanding regarding the architecture, and this helps in accelerating the product development process. So having all of this under one roof is one of its kind in the state. And coming to the incubated startups, there's just a snapshot of some of the startups who are incubated with us. We have startups in the clean tech, in med tech, communication, renewable energy. So in a very short span of time, we started off in December 2019 was a soft launch, and we started in 2021 January. And in a year and a half, we already have 51 POCs developed from the incubator, and 21 products have been developed. So just to give a brief idea on how do we support startups, till we give them an average mentoring session of 4 hours per startup per month. With 26 mentors on board, we map their TRL and milestone of each startup on a monthly basis. Right till date, we have completed more than 400 hours of mentoring, facilitated 40 plus industry connects. By industry connects, I mean we get the startups connected to different industries as well as different government departments where they can pilot their products. The very recent one was ThinkPro, which was connected to SIFA and Fisheries Department and OUAT. Then Aranya Paridhi had piloted their product at Oreda. So there are different ways how we connect these startups to the government departments and also to other industry piloting. Some of the snapshot of mentoring sessions we have had in the past. These sessions are SOS, as and when the startup requires any help or any support on technical front, we connect them or give an hands-on training workshops on the technology that is required. We give them platform to showcase their product. So some of them had showcased in the Digital India Week. In fact, ours was the largest one. Most of the startups were from Odisha, and we had participated in the Convergence Expo in the Hall of Fame. We had an in-house startup meetup program. We organize such programs where the startups get a platform to interact, innovate, or have demo pitches arranged. They get the right feedback from the investors or from the technical mentors, the industry specialists. We often have delegates from different departments of the government visiting the incubator, wherein they can see if there is a convergence, if there can be a synergy between what they are producing and what is the requirement. So that is where they get a chance to pilot their products. So coming to some of the programs, like I mentioned, apart from the incubation, pre-incubation program, we have had organized one acceleration program in the past called as Scout, which focused on smart city challenges and outcomes for urban transformation. That was the acronym. And it was a pan-India contest for startups where what we did was it was kind of a studio model wherein we invited all the system integrators like L&T, Smart World, Ashoka Buildcon, Bhubaneswar Smart City Limited, Shapoorji Pallonji, Elliott and all. They came they came on this platform, and then we had technical mentors, technical partners like Analog Devices, Microchip, then Xilinx, Excel Point. So what happened is we got the problem statements from these system integrators who were actually implementing the smart cities and the challenges faced by them, be it in waste management or surveillance, energy management, water management, tool collections. So these problem statements were then thrown to the startups, wherein we formed a cohort of 36 finalists, and at the end of it was a 4 month program, so 4 month acceleration program, and at the end of it, we were able to come out with 26 deployable POCs. How it worked? The startups were constantly monitored and technically and mentored from these technical partners with support in the form of eval boards, development kits, and other technical support that was extended to them. And the system integrators constantly monitored and evaluated the startups whether they were building the product right and whether they are building it right and they're building the right product. So some of our upcoming programs are we are coming up with a mining challenge program, which we are launching very shortly in the first week of September. We also are coming up with a smart policing hackathon. So the mining challenge program is organized alongside, we have partners like NALCO, JSW, Rourkela Steel Plant Sale, and other stakeholders who, and again, the model will be same. We'll have these stakeholders who provide us with the problem statements, and we'll have technical partners who will be supporting the startups who come into who get selected for the acceleration programs. So and this will again be a 3 to 4 months program wherein the startups will work on the problem statement that is thrown at them and come out with deployable solutions. The second one, Intercept, that is a smart policing hack. This we are organizing we are organizing it with the Commissionerate of Police and organized by the Department of Electronics and IT, Government of Odisha. So these are some of our upcoming programs. Through this platform, I would request everyone who is interested and has a solution, and please apply for the same and benefit. So these are some of the startups who are incubated with us, like SPK Mac Technologies, who are working hard to become one of the ODMs. Then we have Priorities Made Easy, who are developing a medicine dispenser and reminder. We have FX UAV Technologies, who is working on a fixed wing UAV for aerial scanning and payload drop. Carbon Out, they are manufacturing green tile blocks with features of IoT. We have QuickPit 7 manufacturing automated vending machine, contactless vending machine. We have Earthy Technologies. They're a startup who are virtually incubated with us. They're from Bangalore. We have Swabiman, who are working on a tri-mode drone. We have Synchro Solution. They are working on a solar power floating agriculture, basically for the fishery sector. It is a the solar-powered automatic dispenser, pH monitoring, and oxygen level monitoring, dissolved oxygen monitoring system. They recently have piloted product with like STPI support, piloted it at OUAT, and they have given the product for validation. Instrument innovation, they are developing a BMS battery management system. BMW is one of their clients, and then we have Young Tinker. We have Mithika, who is working on computing devices for for differently abled people. We have Soundlier, Oxipod, and SMPS, who is developing products such as integrated Versa module converter and smart hybrid power supply. So, Aranya Pariti is developing solar electric fencing agricultural application, also microinverter for harvesting from power. Then we have EV Garage. These are some of the startups who have been working with us and incubated with us. So we try to extend all possible solutions, all possible help that we can extend to the startups, because the whole aim of the COA is to provide comprehensive structural and fundamental support, including lab and incubation, then training, mentoring, handhold, funding, through a very joint collaborative effort. That is the whole task. We have a collaborative effort where we bring in effort of government of India, state government, industry, academia, and technology experts under one roof, and that is how we extend the support to the startups. Before I end, I would just like to mention that when we can work in unison, these centers of entrepreneurship shall definitely give a major impetus to the Indian startups and to the overall technology industry of the country. That is all from me. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Madam Lopa. We don't have any question, but we really appreciate you joining us for this event. Thanks. All right. So our next speaker is from Government of Andhra Pradesh. We have Mr. Manoj Ponnada, who is Joint Director, Innovation Society, and he will touch upon the policies and special schemes that Andhra Pradesh has for the ESDM startups. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Manoj.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad, and thank you, Isa, for instrumenting such a wonderful event. Definitely, ESDM is new to me, to be frank, because the state is majorly focusing on fintech, analytics, regular, where the source of income is more, and the usual startups, it's a very easy basket. Definitely. The first question I got when I was here, the same question. So, you're in, of course, there's a diaspora here. The first meeting was with them. They said, our state is actually growing. It's bifurcated from Telangana. Why do you need ESDM at this point of time? My analogy is like, definitely we see a car, we see a driver, but we never see a petrol. We discuss about AI, we discuss about ML, we discuss about IoT, but without any chipset or ESDM, there is nothing being done in these things. So I just wanted to also mention ESDM as part of our ecosystem. And not me, and Nishit also from MIT, he said, we have 3 EMCs in total, electronic manufacturing clusters. We are the second largest electronic manufacturing hub in India, and we are the first to get EMC in 2.0 scheme from MIT. Of course, in ESDM, we are doing a lot, but coming to startups, we are doing nothing. It's not a bad thing to mention. As you said, I have an opportunity to open up for the startups in my state, as it's a thing. I just wanted Muthu sir to have these things done for me. So as I said, I am Manoj, the Joint Director, Andhra Pradesh Innovation Society. I take care of the startup ecosystem. Means simple, you just come with the idea, we would do whatever we can, as Ruchir was mentioning. We have corporate connects being done by us. We have investor connects, mentor roadshows. Everything will be taken care. Only thing, you need to have a valid idea that can be technically viable, and it might not scale up. We can just do it, because sometimes we don't know when the market is open for such a product. We can have a prototype built with us, because as a government, we do have some money to invest on some crazy ideas too. If we believe, we are definitely there to believe. So we are an emerging startup destination. We operate from Visakhapatnam, which is a semi urban city, which what people call, but actually that's a kind of metropolitan city because we do have central government institutions lying there. Complete in Eastern Naval Command is headed in Visakhapatnam. So majorly our focus is on the DevTech startups, which was not being promoted so well. And these are bit stats. We are the 8th largest states, and we do have the second longest coastline after Gujarat. And again in 2022, we have the ease of doing business rank. And coming to startups, of course, as I said, we are just emerging still. We have a leader position in 2018, but we are not performing so well with the startups right now. The remaining we already spoke. Next slide, please. Simple. I don't want to mention much on Innovation Society because it's already late and I don't want to take so much time. As we are a new state, we have a very light to go on. We are a clean slate. We are starting new and we don't have any responsibilities as to glorify the history or anything. So we are starting new, and every policy from the central government, of course, will be implemented by the state government. I need not stress on it. As a personal state government official, we implement all of them, and we do have some new, but everything is the same replication of what we have in every other state. So let us not discuss more on it. But majorly we are open to startups to explore government as a marketplace. You have an idea, you wanted to implement in the state government, definitely come to us, speak to us. You just come so casual like I am here right now. We are so casual, we don't have a policy specific to anything. We have a blanket policy which is included in the IT policy itself. That means startup policy. Just next slide please. It is so simple. We only have 3 incentives. We just have a program for 6 months. If you are ideation stage, you will go to next level. We have a COE with the NASCOM collaboration. You get access to it. And you have a market access, ecosystem partners, all this as I said. Everything is the same as in which the other state. The one thing which I promise you is, if you have an idea that has to be implemented in the state government or a central government department, that can be done. Because we are doing it already. With the VPT, Vizag Port Trust, we have a use case of derailment, which is already being done, and the startup is given the complete work order to completely work on the Vizag Port Trust derailment issue. And we have a person who is working on this lifeboats of underwater lifeboats. They were the IDEX poster boy, and he is working with the Eastern Naval Command right now. He has a work order of 2.5 crores. So this is 2 success stories which is being done, and remaining are being implemented in various other government departments, in medical technology, in health tech, and also in various public distribution systems. To make government more efficient with their functionality, we are getting all the use cases from the departments. We are keeping it to the startups. We wanted them to explore the cases, because end of the day, we would be having a very closed mindset, not thinking beyond what we have a limitation of the policy. As I said, we are a very new state. This is a clean slate. We wanted innovate in that way. So we are opening the marketplace, the government as a marketplace to the startups. This is the first thing which we are doing, because as Muthu sir said, we should never forget the service. That's one thing. The product startups would definitely come, because once we have this, definitely they would be there. So we are exploring the government as a marketplace and inviting the startups. This is what I majorly wanted to mention. And of course, the next slide please. It's the facility which we have right now, and we have leased out every other thing, because when we started in 2015, we almost in the 13 districts, we have 5 places as incubation centers, with which college started building their own incubation center. Of course, we are not the only reason. Central government has many initiatives to build incubation center in the institutions itself, which we gave them a model to execute very easily. So we have, right now we have 21 incubation centers in college itself, and we do have premier institutions which are running successfully their use cases with us. So that way, we now have the 51 SFT in Visakhapatnam, which has 2 COEs, Center of Excellences with NASCOM and STPI. And NASCOM is doing quite a lot of work with many central government institutions in AP government collaboration. This is simple. We are open. We don't have a policy. That's what I say, because it's a blanket policy. You just come, talk to us. We will get ready everything. Just a note. We are as casual as I am dressing. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Mr. Manoj. It was we had a session from Deepak pitch about the pitch, right? So this was one of the very candid, simple pitch that I have seen. So let's give him a big hand. So thank you so much.
Sir, can I take the opportunity? Aisa, can we do an MOU with AP Innovation Society to encourage the startups? And Muthu sir, how do we take SAFL to our state? Either it's as a chapter or you wanted to establish the same facility there. We are open. I can drive this open thing. I wanted to ask.
All right, so that brings us to the last session for today, and that is from our very own state, that is Karnataka. We have Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, what we call it as KDM, and we have Mr. Avik Kumar Devnath, who is AVP for ESDM vertical under KDM, and he is going to give us a pitch about what Karnataka is going to do or is doing about ESDM startups. So over to you, Mr. Avik.
Good evening, everyone. At the first, I would want to thank you, Aisa, for giving us this opportunity to see what the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission is doing, and also highlight what the government of Karnataka is working on, especially on the startups as well as the ESDM sector. So I would take you through my presentation. I am trying to cover these areas, where I'm going to give you a brief on the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. It's a new organization. It's a Section 8 company formed by the government of Karnataka about a year back. And then I'm going to cover the Karnataka, why Karnataka is the preferred destination. Then Government of Karnataka's initiatives on startups and innovation sector, and also the infrastructure which are available for startups with a focus on the ESDM sector. And then at the end, I'm going to touch briefly on what the entire ESDM ecosystem in the state has in store. So coming to what KDM is, the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission is a Section 8 company formed by the government of Karnataka. But the beauty of this organization is that though the entire financing and all the expenses are borne by the government of Karnataka, the government has taken 49% stake in it, whereas 51% stake has been given to the industry. So though the government is taking or is making all the investments, the drivers and the steering has been given, the driver's seat has been given to the industry. And when I say industry, I mean by 3 industry associations, ISA, NASCOM, and ASSOCHAM. So few of our objectives, as you might see, that we want to promote support on the digital industry growth. We want to build global linkages for companies who are in Karnataka, both startups as well as ESDM companies. And mainly we would want, KDM wants to act as a bridge between the industry and the government to understand the pain points of the industry and take it up with the government, mainly with the government of Karnataka, and at some point through the government of Karnataka with the central government, to understand that what interventions the government needs to do in order to for the ESDM sector or any other sectors, like the other sectors which KDM covers as well, to prosper. So that is the main line or main aim which KDM has been formed. So others are like policy incentives. We advise on what kind of policy changes or policy incentives or policy interventions is required for developing the entire ecosystem. Yes, coming to the organization structure, KDM works on 3 verticals. One is ESDM, one is startup and innovation, and then IT services, BPM, and GCC. These are 3 verticals on which KDM works, and there are 2 horizontal layers which support these 3 verticals. One is the Beyond Bangalore mission, and the other is Talent Accelerator. We understand that that all the three verticals would, at some point of time, need to expand and would need more talents, more skilled manpower, and which is of a resource which everyone is looking to get, and this is not readily available, and it's quite a quite a challenge for companies to scale up their operations and get the right kind of manpower. So this is something, these two horizontal layers actually support the three verticals on which we work on. And coming to our aspirational goals, we have set quite a few aspirational goals. Like KDM wants to bring in changes which would lead to 40% GSDP contribution in the digital economy. We have USD 150 billion in IT export. We want to reach that. So there are quite a few of these aspirational goals, and also like in terms of ESDM, like where we as a state of Karnataka, where do we want to reach by 25-26 when the aspirational goals of the central government is around $300 billion of electronics production by 2025-26. Where do we stand? So we want to currently, if we are at $17 billion, we want to change it to, say, increase it by 10 times in the next 5 to 6 years. So these are aspirational goals which KDM has. Now, coming to why Karnataka is a preferred destination. So I think I'll just give you some facts that I'm sure that many of you would be knowing, and I can see the startups over here, so they are much more aware that India, in 2021-22, India had 53 unicorns. And out of that, 19 unicorns were for Bangalore, Karnataka, which means almost 36% of the unicorns have come up from Bangalore and Karnataka. So if I take this as a financial year of 21-22, Karnataka produced one unicorn every 19 days. So that, I think, speaks volumes about the kind of government incentives, the kind of ecosystem which is present for the startups to sort of grow and nurture the status and then grow into unicorns. So Bangalore is leading in 21-22 with 91 unicorns, and followed by Mumbai and Delhi with 12 each. So I think these speaks volumes that why Karnataka, Bangalore is called the startup capital of India. And in addition, there are a number of firsts for Karnataka and Bangalore. So we have seen that we are the first for total exports across all India states, first in number of R&D centers, first in the innovation index of Niti Aayog, first in installed renewable energy, first in electronics design, biotech productions, aerospace. So there are a number of areas where Karnataka excel in the ESDM as well as the manufacturing ecosystem across the country. Going ahead, like why Karnataka is the preferred destination for ESDM companies. So Karnataka has the largest chip design hub with over 85 fabless chip design companies housed in and around Bangalore and in Karnataka. 10% of the contribution for the total national electronics output comes from Karnataka. 40% of the national share of the national electronic design is from Karnataka, Bangalore. And for the innovation and startup and innovation side, like as I said, like it is the first in Niti Aayog's India Innovation Index, home to over 400 MNCs out of 500 Fortune, out of all the Fortune 500 companies, 400 have a presence in Bangalore and in Karnataka. And it is the third highest number of startups globally, not only in India. Like India, we are number one, but globally, we have the third highest number of startups. So, yeah, again, just to give you some more facts, that Bangalore has been widely cited as one of the fastest growing technology center. It is also called the startup capital. As I said, it's ranked 26 in the global startup ecosystem report, ranked 14th best startup ecosystem in the world. So now we can understand that it is very evident that Bangalore and Karnataka has a very enabling ecosystem as far as startups are concerned and like across all sectors. But then I'm going to talk about the facilities which are available for startups, specifically for ESDM sectors, which the startups can take benefit of. So I'm coming to the Government of Karnataka initiatives. Yes, so the Karnataka startup policy was launched in 27th November 2015. So you have to understand that today we might be the number one in the innovation index in Niti Aayog, but it's not a journey which we started here. It has been like over 7 to almost a decade of thinking that what needs to be done in terms by the government to take the state into a level where it becomes a highest unicorn producing state. So this is not only, it started today, but over a decade of work has gone behind by the government to create this enabling atmosphere and ecosystem in the state. So it's the first state in India to release the sector-specific policies. All the IT, the information technology, biotechnology, startups, each has a state policy, and this has been brought out in the last decade. Focus on innovation, startup state. Then startup cell, a startup cell has been formed by the government of Karnataka called the Karnataka Innovation and Technology Society under the Department of Electronics, IT and BT, government of Karnataka. So all these has led to what we are seeing as Bangalore or Karnataka being called as the startup capital for India. So coming to the government of Karnataka startup framework, there are 4 pillars on which they work. One is they identify like how startups can get funding. They're how the startup should be incubated, what is the incubation process, how can the government help in incubating the startups. New technologies and domains, so there are new ideas which are coming up. How do the government work to help kind of disruptive technologies which are being, which a startup might want to work on. And then global connect, how do we give market access to startups who are just growing and would want to have new market access. Coming to the KTech Innovation Hub, there are 3 innovation hubs as NAN and then CIF and TBIs. So NAN is something which has been housed in the engineering colleges. So it is to promote entrepreneurship in the minds of students. So these are housed in engineering colleges across the state. CIF is a lab where the startups can come and use the facility and carry on with their work. And TBI is a proper technology incubator. So these are the initiatives which have been taken by government of Karnataka, and this is to sort of as a part of the entire startup ecosystem in the state. Going ahead, like the KTech Innovation Hubs also has these incubation centers. So NASSCOM houses the KTech Innovation Hub for IoT companies and IT companies. The KTech Innovation Hub by MAI is a innovation hub, is an incubation center specifically for centers for companies who are working on apps. And then again, KTech Innovation Hub by BBC is working on startups who are working on biotechnology and pharmaceutical area. We also have 8 Center of Excellences, and these are housed both in companies as well as associations. Like ISA itself is the COE for Semiconductor Design and Fabless Accelerator. We have the cybersecurity, III is the COE at IISc. We have Aerospace and Defense at Dassault System. Data Science and AI is hubbed as in NASSCOM. So we have 8 areas and COEs which are hubbed at different organizations, government organizations, and industry associations. Now, coming to the grants, so there are Elevate is one of the main program which is done by KDM as well as the government of Karnataka. So it is an initiative by government of Karnataka to identify and innovate startups across the state, and a grant in aid up to 50 lakh is given. It's like a competition, so whoever wins the Elevate gets this grant, and the jury is made by the industry. coming up as the government of Karnataka, there are grand challenges. As my previous speaker from Odisha, they said that even they have grand challenges. So these are actually challenges which are given, the topics are given by government of Karnataka and 6 has been announced. So if you can see that one challenge might be one challenge which was announced was on water and sewage management. The second was on plant disease. The third was on effective delivery of primary health care. So these are challenges which are thrown to startups, and any company, any startup who has a solution can come up and propose what they would want to do about these challenges. And a funding up to 10 lakh each is given for a period of 6 months. And once and the final company startup who wins gets a funding of around 50 lakhs and a time period of 12 to 15 months in the second phase. So these are few of the success stories of Elevate. And in terms of incentives and reimbursements for patents, the government of Karnataka gives 2 lakhs, reimburses 2 lakhs rupees for if a startup has filed in for an Indian patent, and 10 lakhs if they have filed for an international patent. In addition, the government also gives opportunities for companies for market access. So as I said, that any startup who would want to go and say attend an international conference or showcase their product in an international trade fair, so a 30% of reimbursement is given to the startups who are availing this kind of these benefits. And again, like the SGSTs are also reimbursed for any startups who have started production and sorry. Yes, so there are few of these recent initiatives by government of Karnataka. Is the Karnataka Innovation Authority Act. So it was a bill and now it has been passed. So this is a one of its kind pan sector, across all sector regulatory sandbox, which means actually if there is a startup which has a disruptive technology or a product which is coming, which cannot be in the current rule or of the government, they cannot operate. So they can apply through this Karnataka Innovation Authority, where Chief Minister heads this body, and they can, for a particular period of time, can sort of give a permission that the company can operate those their products, and the laws would not be levied on them. So for example, like if it was a automotive company who wants to say try driverless automotive on roads of Bangalore, they might go and ask for a permission to be given for testing their products on Bangalore roads, and they can use this regulator so that they would not come under the normal rules of which all the automotive cars or buses or all the vehicles are governed by. So this is, I'm just giving an example for you to understand. Then we have Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. As I said, I don't want to go over that again. And also Vision Group, so which are headed by different corporate leaders, startup funders, VC, angel investors. And the primary objective is to sort of guide the startups that how they should be going ahead in terms of funding, in terms of getting new market access, and in terms of making their product, commercialize their product. KDM has also started with this new initiative to formalize this, the KDM Startup Grid. So this is actually a grid across Karnataka, mainly beyond Bangalore, where they are putting in together. We are trying to bring in all stakeholders on one page, wherein we have the startups, we have the regulators, we have funders, we have venture capitals, and then we have angel investors all together, so that whenever we are trying to do an event, or whenever any of the startups who would need any kind of connections, we can put them in those connections. And we are going to regularly do events so that we sort of all the stakeholders come on the same stage and have a discussion as how to sort of mentor and help the startups develop their products. Now, coming to infrastructure available for startups, I don't want to speak much because Muthu sir is sitting here. Semiconductor Fabless Accelerator, which is a KTech COE for Fabless community, so which has been established for the Fabless ecosystem in India. So it's a government initiative funded by Government of Karnataka through the Karnataka Kids, and also focused on enabling fabless startups. I think he has already spoken, so you all might have you heard him speak about Safal. The second is the Center of Nanoscience and Engineering. We had Ma'am Tulsi sitting over here, but she has left now. So she's from IISc. So this is housed in IISc. And the main focus area for SENSE is on these areas: nanoelectronics, MEMS, NEMS, nanomaterials, devices, photonics, nanobiotechnology. And there are two main national user facilities. One is the National Nanofabrication Center and the Micro and Nano Characterization Facility. And these two main facilities are supported by various other labs like the MEMS and IC Packaging Lab, Computation Nano Engineering Lab, and many other labs which support these two. And all these facilities are accessible to outside academic and industrial users. So any startup who are working in the ESDM space and would want to develop a product in semiconductors or chips, they can use these facilities. So these facilities are already available in Karnataka, and all with the support of Government of Karnataka. So this is a new, the Lahari testing facility which has come up in Mysore. So this is mainly for the ESDM sector companies, but any startups are welcome to take advantage of it. So it's country's first advanced electronic test facility in Mysore, and this has been funded by under the Electronics Manufacturing Cluster Scheme of Government of India. It's a world-class facility of various testing and international certification can be got, and this is also formed as a Section 8 company. So the fees you would be paying is quite nominal compared to other labs across the country. Then this is a new initiative which KSM has taken, is to develop a multi-tenancy clean room. So 40,000 square feet of clean room is being planned. We already have government approval and funding approval for this. This would mainly be useful to bring down the initial capital expenditure cost for companies who are operating, operating like ATMP and OSAT units. So this would be multi-tenancy. So you can take up a clean room, depending, like mostly the clean rooms would be in 10,000 class, and pay a tenant and pay a rent for maybe 1 year, 1.5 years, or whatever time you would need, and then conduct your experiments and then move out. So you are spared with you don't need to invest on building a clean room. And once your business grows and you would want to set up your own unit, the companies can decide to have their own clean room facility. So this should be up and running in the next 1 year. This is another initiative which KDM has taken, which is to come up with a global emerging technology design center. This is going to come up in Hubli in North Karnataka, beyond Bangalore. And the idea is that any startup, any entrepreneur comes in with a idea, goes out with a product. So it would have all the various stages which a product development would go through. So this is a new initiative, and it should also be we should also be able to complete it in the next, say, one year. Coming to the Karnataka ESDM ecosystem. So Karnataka, Bangalore and Mysore are coming up as the major hub in Karnataka. In North Karnataka, Hubli is coming up as a major hub as the ESDM hub. So we have in Bangalore and Mysore, we have the major EMS companies like Dixon, Wistron, GE, Keynes. Latest, I'm sure that all of you would be knowing that ISMC has signed an agreement with Government of Karnataka to establish India's first commercial fab in Mysore. So that's coming up in the Kochanahalli industrial area in Mysore, which is also which is under the EMC 2.0 scheme of Government of India to form the electronics manufacturing cluster. And we already have an existing ecosystem in Mysore with companies like AT&S, which has India's largest PCB manufacturing plant in Mysore, near Kochanahalli. So this is, we have a very strong talent pool in the state. We have around 234 engineering colleges, 52 universities, almost 1,800 ITIs, and we are looking at almost 1 lakh chip designers are present in the state, and over another almost 1 lakh PhDs, over 20,000 automobile engineers, and 10,000 aeronautical engineers. Coming to, I'll briefly touch upon the different incentives. So these incentives are for ESDM companies, not per se for startups, but any startup who has, who sort of ticks all the boxes, there is an eligibility criteria for these incentives, can avail these funds. So we have capital investment subsidy of 25% subsidy on land, 20% on plant and machinery, and these are above the incentives which a ESDM company can take benefit from the Government of India. So these are in addition to the Government of India incentives. So 100% reimbursement on land conversion, stamp duty, and then during operation we have, like once the commercial operation starts, a 1% turnover of production link incentive scheme is also given for 5 years, and then there are other incentives like electricity duty and SGST revisions and reimbursements as well. As far as the application and approvals process, so Karnataka government follows gives a 3-year long moratorium period, which means that the company who needs the approval can give a self-affidavit saying that I'm going to follow all the laws of the state, and they can start working on establishing their facility, and start producing, and not wait for the approvals actually to come. And in between this 3-year period, the company is expected to get all the approvals as like within these 3 periods. So it is a trust-based relationship between the industry and the government, where the government gives a moratorium for 3 periods and no approvals are needed to start your operations. And coming to Beyond Bangalore mission, like we are, KDM is working very closely with the government of Karnataka to sort of bring out different clusters like Mysore, which is coming up as the ESDM cluster, Mangalore, a fintech cluster, Hubli, again, an advanced manufacturing cluster. So these are the areas which we, in the next 4 or 5 years, we would see a very developed ecosystem has been developed around these areas.
So, hi Avik. Question is that at one point you mentioned about market access. Now from ESDM startup aspect, I want to ask this curiosity that for ESDM startup, how would you like to enable market access? Is it in the form of any work order commitment? How is it like?
It is not that. Like market access is one what I have said in terms of reimbursement. So any of the startups which are registered in Karnataka can actually go and attend a international event and then take 30% reimbursement from the government. So that is there. And again, there are a number of events which the government or Karnataka Digital Economy Mission is planning to sort of take part in, wherein we also see that which are like what are the main startups which can take benefit from attending these, and then a subsidized cost or maybe given to the startups, and a space might be given to the startup to go and attend that particular event. So these are areas, these are things which it's like depending on what events we are attending and what kind of approvals we have got for funding from the government. So in that way, we go ahead with it.
Okay,
but
thank you.
There are a number of other events where, say for example, we are getting an international delegation coming into Karnataka, and then we are hosting the delegation. We also invite the relevant startups to come and be a part of it so that they have international exposure and international connects with these kind of foreign delegations as well.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, a very quick question. You spoke about the patent reimbursement, right?
Yeah.
Is it for the patent filed or after the patent has been granted?
It needs to be granted. Yeah,
It needs
after
to
the
be
fact,
granted. Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
So thank you so much, and that brings us to the end of not only this session but to the end of the event as such. And thank you, Avik. It's always challenging to be the last speaker in any event, okay? And the kind of details that you presented, I'm sure there is a lot there for other states to learn and emulate from Karnataka. And once again, thank you for the insightful presentation. And many thanks to all the audience who stayed put till the end of the event. Ruchir, you have anything?
No, I was going to say the same thing. At lunch I said that we were 90 minutes behind schedule. Now we are only half an hour behind schedule. So we did an amazing job after lunch in recovering time. So many thanks are due, but the first in priority for the thanks is all of you, the audience. You braved. There are people who are in this room, you braved the traffic of Bangalore and showed up here at 10 o'clock, which is amazing. You stayed through all the sessions that we had, and I'm sure that there were some nuggets that were interesting and informative for you that you can go back. All of this material here that you saw will become available on our website, so you will have something to go back and refer to. Now, is this going online or is that going online? Both are going online. All right, so 2 views. So people who are online, during COVID, we have all suffered death by WebEx. Right? We saw everything online. So those of you who stayed on in the session online, thank you so much for your patience. I know it is hard. Now, I cannot end this session before I talk about the people who put this event together. Prasad is standing there up on the stage.
Thank you.
Praveen, if I can come bring you up here, you are still here. Kamlesh was here, but Kamlesh had, I guess we forgot that we still have some bosses, so come up. And then Manoj from ST, who started the session, he also had to leave. He came from Delhi for this. Who am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, thank you to me as well. Then there's Gautami here, yes. And then there's Sophia in the back. There's Ved, who's standing there like a very good schoolboy. This is the team that you didn't see up on the stage, but without them, nothing would have happened. Yes. And then there is one person that I want to thank personally, who is my coach, philosopher, and guide, and he's sitting here in the front, Muthu. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that this event would not have happened had Muthu not been our guide through the process. Yes. So Muthu, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much. I got 2 pieces of feedback from audience through the day. The first one was, excellent event. You are 5 years too late. The second feedback I got was, you said that, quoting me, that you said it's an annual event. It is too infrequent. Can you do this once every 6 months? So let's see, the ISA team and us, we will start working on it. And I also ask you to come and volunteer in the ISA SIG, the core interest group of startups. Come and help and give back to ourselves. So again, thank you so much and see you soon shortly.
Then a small token of appreciation for Ruchir himself.